Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, we had reached a point where the Sahabi says that 40 days were completed, and after 40 days were completed, then Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sent his messenger, and the messenger came and he told Hazrat Ka'b bin Malik radiallahu ta'ala, and similarly the other two companions, Murara bin Rabi, Hilal bin Umayyah radiallahu anhum, that now you must separate from your wives. So they now separated from their wives after 40 days. Now 50 days thereafter were completed. So he says, ثُمَّ صَلَّيْتُ صَلَاةَ الْفَجْرِ صَبَاحَ خَمْسِينَ لَيْلَةً عَلَى ظَهْرِ بَيْتٍ مِّن بُيُوتِنَا. Then I performed Fajr namaz in the morning of the 50th night upon the roof of one of our homes. فَبَيْنَ أَنَا جَالِسٌ عَلَى الْحَالِ الَّذِي ذَكَرَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى مِنَّا. That whilst I was sitting in the condition which Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala had described upon us, قَدْ ضاقت على نفسي وضاقت علي الأرض بما رحبت. That certainly my life became narrowed upon me, and the earth became narrowed upon me in spite of its vastness. Meaning life became unbearable. Now 50 days have gone in this way. People are not speaking to us. Now our wives are also separated from us. So life became very restricted upon us. وَسَمِعْتُ صَوْتَ صَارِخٍ أَوْفَى عَلَى سَلْعٍ يَقُولُ بِأَعْلَى صَوْتِهِ. He says that I heard the sound of a person that was calling out, who climbed upon the mount of Sila, and he was saying at the top of his voice, Ya Ka'b ibn Malik, Abashir, O Ka'b ibn Malik, that rejoice, become happy. فَخَرَرْتُ سَاجِدًا, I fell in sajda. وَعَرَفْتُ أَنَّهُ قَدْ جَاءَ فَرَجٌ, and now I knew that certainly some opening has come for us. Allah has now opened the way for us. فَآذَنَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ النَّاسِ بِتَوْبَةِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى عَلَيْنَا حين صلى صلاة الفجر. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam announced to the people of Allah Ta'ala accepting our tawbah at the time when he read the Salatul Fajr. فَذَهَبَ النَّاسُ يُبَشِّرُونَنَا. The people went and began giving us glad tidings. فَذَهَبَ قِبَلَ صَاحِبَيَّ مُبَشِّرُونَ. They went in the direction of my two companions, giving them glad tidings as well. وَرَكَضَ رَجُلٌ إِلَيَّ فَرَسًا وَسَعَى سَاعٍ مِّنْ أَسْلَمَ قِبَلِي. And one person, he galloped his horse towards me, and a man, he ran from the tribe of Aslam in my direction. وَأَوْفَى عَلَى الْجَبَلِ. This person from the tribe of Aslam, he climbed upon the mountain. فَكَانَ الصَّوْتُ أَسْرَعَ مِنَ الْفَرَسِ. But the voice was more fast than the horse. The man that stood on the mountain and he screamed, his voice reached first. فلما جاءني الذي سمعت صوته يبشرني نزعت له ثوبي فكسوتهما إياه ببشارته. When the man whose voice I heard to give me glad tidings, when that came to me, I removed my clothing and I gave him my clothing because of giving me glad tidings. Wallahi ma amliku ghayrahuma yawma idhin. He says, I take a qasam in the name of Allah that I did not own anything except the two pieces of clothing which I had on that day. Wasta'artu thawbayni falabistahuma. I borrowed two pieces of clothing and I wore these two pieces of clothing. Wantalaqtu ata'ammamu Rasulallahi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And thereafter I departed intending Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that I want to meet Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Yatalaqani an-nas fawjan yuhanni'unani bit-tawbati wa yaquluna li. And people started meeting me group after group, and they were giving me glad tidings of my tawbah being accepted, and they were saying to me, litahnika tawbatullahi alayk, that congratulations to you that Allah Ta'ala has accepted your tawbah. Hatta dakhaltul masjid, until I came to the point that I entered Masjidun Nabawi. فَإِذَا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم جَالِسٌ حَوْلَهُ النَّاسِ. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sitting, and around Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam were people. فَقَامَ طَلْحَةُ بْنُ عُبَيْدِ اللَّهِ. Hazrat Talha bin Ubaidullah radiyallahu ta'ala an, he stood up. فَقَامَ طَلْحَةُ بْنُ عُبَيْدِ اللَّهِ يُحَرْوِلُ حَتَّى صَافَحَنِي وَهَنَّانِي. He rushed to me until he made musafaha with me. He shook my hand and he embraced me. Wallahi ma qama rajulun min al-muhajirin ghayruhu. I take a qasam in the name of Allah that no person from amongst the muhajirin except Hazrat Talha radiyallahu ta'ala stood up to come and greet me. فَكَانَ كَعْبٌ لَا يَنْسَاهَ لِطَلْحَةٍ. Hazrat Ka'b radiyallahu ta'ala will not forget Hazrat Talha radiyallahu ta'ala, because when he jumped his wall, he went there, he made salam to him 3 times. Hazrat Talha radiyallahu ta'ala didn't respond to Hazrat Ka'b radiyallahu ta'ala. And then he told him, in the name of Allah, you know I love Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So at that time he said, Allah and His Rasul know best. So he will never forget Hazrat Talha radiallahu ta'ala. قال Ka'b radiallahu ta'ala says, فَلَمَّا سَلَّمْتُ عَلَى رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم قال وَهُوَ يَبْرُقُ وَجْهُهُ مِنَ السُّرُورِ. When I made salam to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he says, whilst his face was shining because of happiness, أبشر بخير يوم مر عليك مذ ولدتك أمك. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, rejoice, become happy with the best day that has ever passed upon you since your mother had given birth to you. فَقُلْتُ أَمِنْ إِنْدِكَ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ أَمْ مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. He said, is it from you, Ya Rasulullah, or is this from the side of Allah Ta'ala? What contact they had with Allah, that the Rasul of Allah is saying this, but they're asking that Allah Ta'ala give this glad tidings, or is it from you? قال لا بل من عند الله. He said, no, it is from the side of Allah Ta'ala. وَكَانَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم إذا سر استنار وجهه حتى كأن وجهه قطعة قمر. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he would become pleased, when he would become happy, his face would shine as though his face is a piece of the moon. وَكُنَّا نَعْرِفُ ذَلِكَ مِنْهُ. And this is what we recognize from him. فَلَمَّا جَلَسْتُ بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ قُلْتُ. When I sat before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I said, Ya Rasulullah, O Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, إِنَّ مِن تَوْبَتِي أَنْ ينخلع مِن مَالِي صَدَقَةً إِلَى اللَّهِ وَإِلَى رَسُولِهِ. That, Ya Rasulullah, that verily from my tawbah is that I will take out my wealth as sadaqah and give it to Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Meaning all the wealth that I have, all this I'm giving now in sadaqah, because he was so happy that his tawbah has been accepted. فَقَالَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, أَمْسِكَ عَلَيْكَ بَعْدَ مَالِكَ فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكَ. That hold back some of your wealth as this is best for you. فَقُلْتُ إِنِّي أَمْسِكُ سَهْمِي الَّذِي بِخَيْبَرَ. I said that I will hold back my portion which I had received on the occasion of Khaybar in the spoils of war. That wealth that I acquired, that I will hold back, and the rest of my wealth I will give it in the path of Allah Ta'ala. We'll continue from here.